Have you ever walked away from a conversation, heart racing, mind spinning, thinking, why did I let them talk to me like that? We've all been there. A backhanded compliment, a passive-aggressive dig, someone talking over you like your voice doesn't matter, like when your friend jokes about your job in front of others, and you're left smiling just to hide the sting, or that coworker who always says, "Relax, I'm just being honest," right after tearing you down, or the family member who acts like your boundaries are optional, and worst of all, you freeze. You laugh it off, you swallow it, just to keep the peace, but deep down, it chips away at your self-respect. So let's get one thing straight right now. You're not here to be everyone's emotional punching bag. You don't need to be the bigger person if that just means being silent while someone disrespects you. Today, we're flipping the script, because real confidence, it's not loud, it doesn't scream, it doesn't need to prove anything, it just knows. And in this video, you're going to learn 7 brutally honest, battle-tested ways to handle disrespect without losing your cool and without sacrificing your self-respect. 1. The silent stare. This one might sound too simple to work, but it does. Every single time, someone's being rude, interrupting you, tossing condescending remarks like they're entitled to your space. Maybe it's that teammate who always cuts you off mid-sentence in meetings, or the friend who smirks every time you share something you're proud of, and instead of reacting, you just look at them. Not with anger, not with panic, just calm, collected, silent. That pause, that stillness, it's more powerful than any comeback you could throw. Here's why. People who disrespect you are feeding off your reaction. They want to get under your skin. They want you flustered, defensive, or begging for their approval. But the moment you stop playing their game, the second you offer nothing but a silent, steady gaze, the power dynamic flips. They're no longer in control. You are. I remember sitting in a meeting once where a guy kept interrupting me over and over again. Loud, smug, overconfident, like the whole room was his stage. I tried being polite, tried jumping in. Nothing worked. So finally, I stopped. I leaned back, crossed my arms, and locked eyes with him. No blinking, no fidgeting, no anger, just presence. 5 seconds of silence. He stumbled. He looked around. He got uncomfortable. And he never interrupted me again. That moment taught me something I never forgot. You don't always need to speak to take up space. Sometimes just existing with confidence, just not giving them what they want, is all it takes. Because the silent stare isn't passive. It's a quiet way of saying, I see you, but I don't need to shrink for you. 2. Let silence be your weapon. Let's be honest, most people aren't ready for your silence. They're ready for you to react, to explain, to defend. But when someone disrespects you and you say nothing, it hits harder than any comeback could, because silence isn't weakness. It's restraint. It's power under control. See, when someone throws shade or takes a jab at you, they're expecting energy in return. The moment you engage, they win. You've given them your time, your peace, your presence. But when you offer nothing, that silence becomes deafening. Like when someone makes a fake compliment that's really a dig. Oh wow, you're actually wearing that. Or when they bring up your past failures, just loud enough for others to hear. I remember a coworker who loved sliding in little jokes about my work. Comments masked as humor, but sharp enough to cut. One day, he said something especially unnecessary in front of the team. Normally, I'd have defended myself, tried to laugh it off, maybe clap back. But this time, I just turned, met his eyes, and said absolutely nothing. No smile, no response, just calm, cool nothingness. The room got quiet. Real quiet. He looked uncomfortable, then shifted, then backed off. That was the last time he tried it, because silence does one thing really well. It makes people sit with themselves. And most people, they're not comfortable there. 3. Stop explaining yourself. Here's one of the most freeing truths you'll ever hear. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Not for why you said no. Not for why you left that relationship. Not for why you're chasing your dream, cutting someone off, or doing what's right for you. Let that sink in, because most of us, we've been trained to explain, to justify, to overshare in hopes of being understood. But let me be real with you. Some people aren't asking to understand. They're asking to control. They don't want clarity. They want leverage. And every time you over-explain, you hand them that leverage. You invite judgment. You open the door for second-guessing. You don't have to explain why you left that party early, or why you chose not to answer a call at 10 p.m., or why your life path doesn't look like theirs. So stop opening that door. I once left a safe corporate job to do something more aligned with my purpose. The questions started rolling in, but why would you give that up? What's your backup plan? Are you sure you thought this through? At first, I explained. I mapped out my plan. I tried to get people on board, but eventually I realized it was draining me. Their approval wasn't adding anything to my decision, so I stopped. Now when people ask, why'd you do that? I say, because it felt right for me. That's it. No TED Talk, no PowerPoint, just truth. Because your choices don't need applause, they need alignment. 4. Distance is a boundary, not a betrayal. Let's talk about something that's hard but necessary, creating distance. Because here's the truth that most people don't want to admit. Not everyone deserves access to you. I don't care if they're family, childhood friends, coworkers, or your neighbor who's just blunt. If someone is consistently disrespecting you, mocking your choices, talking down to you, crossing your boundaries, they don't get a front row seat to your life anymore. And pulling back doesn't make you rude. It doesn't make you selfish. It makes you aware. You're aware of how you feel after being around them. You're aware of how much energy it takes to recover. You're aware of how often you're shrinking to keep the peace. So what do? You step back, quietly, calmly, with zero drama. You stop texting first. You stop explaining your distance. You simply create space. I had someone in my life who constantly made these little comments about my career, my relationships, my appearance, you name it, always with a smile, always under the guise of just being real. But here's what was real. Every time I saw them, I left feeling worse about myself. So one day, I just stopped. I didn't block them, didn't confront them. I just stopped showing up. And you know what happened? My peace returned. I realized how much lighter I felt when I wasn't managing their energy. Distance gave me clarity, and it reminded me, I don't have to keep everyone close just because we share history. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to outgrow people. And you're absolutely allowed to protect your peace, even if others don't understand. Because here's the deal. Respecting yourself sometimes looks like disappointing other people. And that's okay. 5. Confidence is quiet. Hold your head high. Now let's talk about something subtle but wildly powerful. How you carry yourself. When someone disrespects you, they're hoping for a reaction. They want you flustered, defensive, maybe even humiliated. But you know what throws them off completely? Confidence. Not the fake, loud, look at me kind. I'm talking about that quiet, unbothered, I know who I am kind of confidence. It shows up in your posture, in the way you walk, in the way you don't flinch when someone tries to shake your sense of self. There's something deeply unsettling for disrespectful people about someone who holds their head high in the face of negativity, because it means they didn't get to you. I remember someone once said something nasty to me at a gathering. It was subtle, wrapped in a joke, one of those lines that makes everyone go quiet. But instead of firing back or walking away, I smiled, I stood tall, I met their eyes, and I moved on with the conversation like their words meant absolutely nothing. That was the moment I realized your confidence is a boundary. It's a line that says, you can talk, but you don't have the power to touch my identity. Most people aren't used to that. They're used to poking at your insecurities and watching you crumble, but when you don't flinch, when you walk tall and stay calm, it rattles them. It sends a message without you having to say a word. So the next time someone tries to dim your light with their shade, do the opposite. Stand taller, speak slower, smile wider, because confidence isn't noise, it's posture. And when you hold your head high, you're saying loud and clear, I don't shrink for disrespect. 6. Protect your peace like it's sacred. Let's get something straight. Your peace isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And the older you get, the more you realize this one thing. Protecting your peace is your full-time job. because disrespect doesn't always come screaming. Sometimes it shows up as a friend who constantly belittles you, or a coworker who makes those subtle digs that leave you spiraling all afternoon, or even your own habit of explaining your every move just to avoid judgment. And little by little, it drains you, until one day you realize your life feels heavy, chaotic, out of sync. Why? Because you let too many people touch your energy. It's time to stop doing that. Start treating your peace like it's sacred, like it's air you can't live without, because it is. Protecting your peace doesn't mean cutting everyone off and living in a cave. It means setting quiet boundaries. It means saying no without guilt. It means realizing not everything deserves your reaction, your energy, or even your presence. I once had a colleague who brought chaos wherever they went. Gossip, drama, snide remarks. It was exhausting. At first, I kept engaging out of politeness, but one day I made a decision. I was done letting their energy enter my space, so I stopped reacting. I limited conversations. I redirected the topic anytime it veered toward negativity. And something amazing happened. My days felt lighter, my mind felt clearer. Not because they changed, but because I changed what I allowed. Peace isn't passive, it's built, protected, maintained, and it starts by realizing if it costs your peace, it's too expensive. You've got dreams to chase, healing to do, a life to build. You don't have time to babysit someone else's disrespect, so protect your peace like it's the rare, priceless thing that it is, because it is. 7. Respect starts with you. We've talked about silence, boundaries, confidence, distance, but now we're going to land on the most important truth of them all. Respect starts with you. You can't control how people treat you, but you can absolutely control what you tolerate. Every time you allow a disrespectful comment to slide, every time you over-explain yourself just to feel enough, every time you shrink to fit into someone else's comfort zone, you're silently teaching the world how to treat you. And here's the twist. The moment you stop accepting disrespect is the moment it stops feeling familiar. That's when your whole life starts to shift, because people treat you how you treat you. If you carry yourself like you matter, if you walk with self-respect, speak with intention, and protect your energy like it's gold, the world notices. The wrong people fall away. The right people rise up. And your environment starts to match your internal standards. I used to believe I had to earn respect, prove it, chase it. But over time, I learned respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you embody. You embody it by how you show up, by what you accept, by what you don't allow. So if there's one message I want you to take from all this, it's this. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to clap back to reclaim your worth. You don't have to explain yourself to be valid. You just have to remember who you are and act like it. Let people misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them question your silence. You stay rooted, because when you respect yourself, you teach the world to follow your lead. And that, my friend, is where real power lives. If this message hit home for you, if you're tired of bending for people who refuse to see your worth, then this is your reminder. You don't need permission to stand tall. You don't need to fix, prove, or defend yourself. You just need to protect your peace, own your power, and walk in it. If you're ready to sprint into the best version of yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then you're in the right place. This is Mind Sprint, and we're just getting started. Hit that subscribe button if you're ready for more real talk, raw motivation, and mindset shifts that stick. Drop a comment below and let me know. What boundary are you setting today? Until next time, keep your head high, keep your peace protected, and remember, respect starts with you.